about? Is there anything I'm sure about? I've gotta know myself if the world changes. Breathe in, breathe out. There's nothing I can do about anyone or anything but me. Am I too young or old to change? If I don't try, then everything will stay the same. So if I wanted something different for myself, I better make some choices and make them right now. We're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. I believe in my team, and I believe in you. So let's drop in and kick some ass like the randos do. Because we're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. We're gonna be the best random ever. The best random ever. Hello! Hello and welcome. Oh wow, things are happening. Hold up. Here we go. Alright. It is time. It is time to talk about presents. I'm your host, C2, and this is Best Random Ever. I debate whether or not I should have the music on. I'll keep it on for now. I might turn it off. This is going to be the first episode where I don't play a game and I'm just going to talk. And I can do this because I talk to myself all the time. So it's going to be super easy and fun and good and chill and awesome. So without further ado, I'm going to start talking. Can you tell I'm nervous? So, presents. Presents is being present to the present moment, being available for the present moment, accepting everything that's currently happening so that you can move from moment to moment with ease and not struggle. No music. No music. We won't do it with music. I have a few bullet points, but how does this skill transfer into video games? I guess I can start with that. You got this. Hey, thanks, Jared. What's up? So I was very nervous to come be fully present. Isn't that ironic? For the presents episode, I was very nervous to come be fully present. I knew that in order to be fully present, I couldn't play the game today. I had to just be present and talk about presence and how that goes into playing games and why that's important. I don't really want to say important, but why that is necessary in order to keep your wits about you. Or rather not, I guess. Well, I'll continue. So, presence is something generally that is cultivated outside of doing something else. Presence is something you can go back to when other things become overwhelming. It's a skill that I try and cultivate continuously. I'm not super good at it. I'm no master by any means. However, that skill and my cultivating the skill of presence in my free time has helped me stay present and grounded in the moment when gaming, which is important if you don't want to freak out every time you're gaming. So a lot of that work and a lot of the work for presence isn't going to happen when you're gaming. So that's why I'm not going to be gaming. I'm just going to be here. The first thing about presence that makes it uncomfortable is probably thoughts. I think that's the first thing that probably makes presence uncomfortable. There's going to be a lot of thoughts. If you're used to being very distracted, you're used to like always looking at a screen, always listening to something, always watching somebody else, always consuming something, you're reading something, something's always coming in to your eyeballs or to your earballs. The first thing about presence is sometimes and you can be present when that's happening. Obviously, when you're in a game, you can still be present even though you're playing a game. But the first thing that makes it hard to be present in the present moment is usually thoughts of the past or the future. And also usually made up fucking weird thoughts, like really weird. Like sometimes I'll try to be present, and I call them brain gremlins. My brain gremlin will try and like make up a bunch of reasons why things are bad, make up a bunch of reasons why I'm bad, make up a bunch of reasons why the person I'm dealing with is bad, or why the world is bad. That's the one that I get hung up on, like the unfairness and injustice of the world. But so the first thing that is hard to do, hard to stay present with, is the gremlins, the thoughts. So many thoughts. Oh my God, so many thoughts. And you can cultivate a sense of presence even with the presence of so many thoughts. When you're gaming, a lot of the thoughts are going to be focused probably on it, and it depends on where you lean. And mainly when playing with strangers, the thoughts can sometimes start focusing on other people and what other people are doing. Very like outward, concerning your business with things that you can't control. That's generally, I imagine, what the big thoughts boil down to, are a bunch of things that you can't control, but you're gonna think about them. Oh boy, are you gonna think about them. So that's the first thing that would probably impede you from being present. Just so many thoughts. So how do we deal with these thoughts? There's a bunch of different ways, actually. There's a bunch of different ways to get present. And I think in the past, we thought that like the only way to be present was to be able to meditate. And I'll tell you right now, I like rarely meditate, like actually practically meditate. I rarely am sitting. I'll do it. I do it for moments at a time or for chunks of minutes at a time. And that's helpful to breathe, to ground myself. And I guess you could call that meditation. Most of my practice for being present and grounded is just being mindful. And mindfulness is right next to meditation. And you can do that doing anything. You don't have to be doing something, but you can be mindful doing anything. So when the first barrier to being present is even being able to be in the present moment, a really good thing that is helpful is utilizing your somatic nervous system. So like physical stuff. So if you're like, you find yourself like you're in a game and you're like, I'm not in the present moment. You start like assuming things about your teammate. You start like berating yourself and telling yourself all this mean shit about you. You can actually use like your actual feelings, like, ooh, I practice while doing chores. Yes, exactly. I was gonna say dishes, but then I was like, let's bring it back to gaming. Yes, dishes. So what I will do sometimes is I will start focusing, like in a game, to stay present. A lot of that is about like focusing energy and focusing like what I'm looking at. So I give myself like a task. So that's the first thing. Like you go like, okay, I got to do something with my hands. So for me, I start doing like a task. So I'll start being like, I gotta know, where are we gonna do? We're doing positioning in the circle. So I pull focus from the thoughts onto something else. So in like, or physically, like, how does the controller feel in my hands? A lot of the time, if I'm like, I'm just freaking out, I notice that I'm pushing really hard, or I'm like gripping my controller, or it's like, so I try to like relax my hands a little bit. Okay. I don't want to break my joysticks. I don't want to, like, I'm like, okay, we're not going to get that stick drift going. And you can do it. And then in real life, you can do it. Like, I play a lot of solitaire with real cards. That's like my go-to, like, mindfulness practice. That's very I realize that's very extravagant kind of when I said that. And I was like, I'm sure a lot of people have busy lives and can't lay out a deck of real cards just sitting on the floor and start their mindfulness practice. But that is my mindfulness practice, playing a game of solitaire. And I cheat too. I don't really I don't play the game to like win and be challenged. I play the game just to like move and shuffle cards around with my hands. But you can do it, as Jared said, you can do it while doing chores. Feeling how warm the water is when the dishes are being done, feeling like the soap in between your hands, feeling what each plate feels like. So you're focusing on physical sensation. And in gaming, and it's actually funny because in gaming, we're so caught in our brains, it might even be harder to pull focus. So while I'm in game, and I'm like, okay, I gotta focus up. I gotta be present. Listening to everything that's happening, zeroing in on each little thing, making everything that's happening so small and manageable so that I can pay attention to those things and the thoughts don't run. The other reason I think, and it's funny because your mileage may vary, because something that helps me when I'm gaming is actually, because I'm so focused on the game, I don't have time to think spiraling shame thoughts. I don't have time to think about everything I've ever done wrong, or like, what the fuck was that person talking about last week when I had an interaction with them? I don't really have time to think about that stuff because somebody's shooting me and I need to get cover. So it's actually, for me, easier to stay focused on the game and not on spiraling thoughts while I'm playing a game. But when the spiraling thoughts start happening in game, because of other people, because I'm focusing on other people or what's going on or how I don't like something, that will bring me out. So in real life, it's a lot easier to use like your somatic nervous system, using things, breathing will do it in any situation. Really deep breath in, really deep breath out. And sometimes it helps to imagine, sometimes I imagine energy a lot. I imagine like lights and energy a lot in my head. And when I'm like frantic, it feels like there's a lot going on like right here in my chest. So if I can like harness my breath, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, I can imagine like a cord going from my body down into like the center of the earth and pushing all that energy that's here down into the center of the earth. Just like real quick, push it all down. All that energy, whatever energy is not for me, that's not mine, it's not what I want to be dealing with right now, push it, run it through to the center of the earth. And that imagery of like, instead of like a knot, feels like a knot is right here, that imagery like pulls it straight. And then I can be like, okay, I'm breathing. We're breathing everything through. And you can do that while you're playing games or in your real life. In games, a lot of the issue that comes up too with staying present is things are pulling you. you are coming up against stuff and it's pulling you out of the moment. So for me, my issue is constantly acceptance and non-judgment. Those two kind of go hand in hand. So something when we're still thinking about thoughts, I can like stay mindful of the moment and what's happening in the moment, but the thoughts are always going to come is the thing. You're never going to get the thoughts to stop coming. I think when I started practicing mindfulness and when I started practicing being in control of my own emotions, I thought one day no bad thoughts will come ever, and then I will be free. But that is not how it works. These thoughts and these negative thought loops and these shame spirals, all that good junk, that's like old programming and old habits and old thought patterns that you've learned over a really, really long time. So take how old you are. That's how long, like relatively how old you are. Probably closer to when you were a child. You started learning these thought patterns and programs because it takes some time. It's funny because it takes some time to reprogram children into these negative thought patterns. So there was a time when you didn't think this way. Whatever negative shit is happening in here. There was a time when you were pure little baby light, and you didn't really think so terribly. But it also we take a really long time programming children and like giving them these garbage programs. Here you go. And then that time happens. So it's however long you had that time happening, and if you're an adult, it's a pretty long time. That's how long you've been doing it. So they say, what do they say? They say about a relationship, it takes like half the time that you were together to get over that relationship. I don't know I don't know if that relates to old programs, but it's a lot of work to unprogram yourself and reprogram yourself to keep doing the thing. So for me, I don't expect negative stuff to never happen, because that's also like bypassing. If I'm having a negative thought, I'm having a negative thought. So accepting that it's negative and not judging myself for it. Best random ever. What's up, Jeff? We're talking about presence and we're being present. I'm talking about the negative thoughts, the ones that keep you all crumbly inside. They're not gonna like stop happening, but you can deal with them in a bunch of different ways. So I've talked about acceptance and non-judgment in probably almost all of the other episodes, in some way, but it's those two things have been like the biggest, largest like boon to my thought patterns that I've ever practiced. It's really hard to start doing if you're used to judging yourself and others, and not in a way that's like, if you judge people, you're bad. Because you judge, whatever, judging, we do it. It's a thing we have learned to do. But it's not about like right or wrong. It's about easy and hard. So it's a lot harder for me to be holding everybody's actions and what they're doing and how they're doing it and how all of that every time I interact with anybody or see anyone or read anything or do anything, to like take the time to like glom onto it and judge it is so much time and energy. And then also, if you're glomming on something by judging it and saying what it is and la la la, this is bad because la, and I'm not like that, you're trying to push it away. It feels like maybe you're pushing it away, but you're actually kind of like curbing that shit. Like you're actually kind of like when you clamp onto something and you're like, I'm gonna hate this so much, you're kind of slurping it right on up. And then in the act of resisting the thing that exists, you can kind of become the thing that you hate by pushing against it so hard. So letting things be as they are and accepting that they're like that. And that's not like you're not approving of them. You're just not, you're focusing your energy not on that thing that you don't like, but yourself and the things that you do like. So then the energy goes to the things that you do like and yourself, and you have it for yourself. And you don't have to worry about judging because it's like, that's a waste of my time. It's not even like, I like that or I don't like that. It's like, cool. I know I don't like that. Great. Don't have to harp on it. But sometimes it's fun. Like, that's not, sometimes it's fun to have a little bitch sesh. Sometimes it's fun to fucking tell someone they're a dumb asshole. Like, I'm human beings, but in terms of like, when we're thinking about negative thought loops, because judging other people and things and making that a habit also kind of opens a portal from your brain to everything, even yourself. So if you're harshly judging yourself, you're harshly judging other people, that might feel comfortable and safe in the moment, but then when you're alone, you don't have anything else to focus that judgment on. Guess who the little judgment monster wants to judge now? You gave it food and it's hungry and there's nothing else to judge. It's gonna go fucking ham inside of your head judging you. So when you don't give it anything to feed ever, it becomes weak and stupid, and judges less and is bad and is worse at judging and has nothing really to say eventually. Like, not really. Like, you could always, like, there's always something to complain about. It's a much more interesting exercise. It's probably a much more interesting exercise to find things that you like, or that aren't bad, or that are working the way that it should be. Especially when you're in a game with someone. So even though someone might not be doing something that I like, it pulls me out of it when I spend so much time getting mad at them, because then I'm making myself mad on purpose. And then all of a sudden I like hate this person, and I can't even play the game because I'm so upset. Like, I can't even shoot a gun because I'm so upset at this stranger on the internet who's a stranger. So acceptance and non-judgment help me stay present, because then I only have what's happening and not latching onto it. But then if my random leaves, I'm like, okay, that's what's happening. Cool. Now I know. And then I can move on. And then when you're not in judgment, when you're in acceptance, you can be in flow. Because if I'm resisting, I'm like, hate that you left, hate that you're not here, blah, blah, blah. I'm in resistance to this. I'm not going to play smart because I'm going to be in such resistance that my teammate left. I'm not going to be able to pick up the right guns because I'm not thinking about, oh, my teammate just left. Okay. How do I move from this moment? I'm still in that moment that pissed me off that they left. I can't pivot and be a better teammate to my person who stayed, who now needs my help. It feeds into the rage monster. Yeah, and the rage monster, spoiler alert, just wants rage, does not want justice, does not want fairness, does not want equity, doesn't care about winning. Only rage for rage monster. Rage monster tells you it wants justice so that you will feed it rage. That's it. That's the rage monster's deal. Justice is not vengeance. Vengeance is vengeance. We don't really know what true justice looks like because we don't really experience it. We experience punishment and call that justice. But that's not really justice. Punitive measures, not really justice. Rage monster wants rage. That's what rage monster wants. When you don't feed it and you stay yourself, you can pivot anywhere that needs to be pivoted to. And that's not saying there is always going to be like justifiable anger and rage, but using self-righteousness as a coping mechanism is also a waste of time Because you could be right all you want, but that doesn't mean that your random didn't leave. That doesn't mean that you're not only now two teams, like a two-person team. Hi, Val. So I think a lot of the time we feel very justified in our anger, and that makes it feel okay. But we neglect to remember that nobody else can actually feel our anger except for us. So even if you're having the fire, and you can, you can rain down hellfire upon people for sure and let them know. But in order for that even to happen, we still have to feel that too. In order for even anybody else to feel it, we have to feel it too. So why would you want to make it a fucking forest fire constantly, as opposed to like maybe not stoking the flame so fucking much, because you gotta feel it anyway. And it also can become a problem, and this is a separate thing too. It also can become a problem, not a problem. I don't want to frame any of that as a problem. But sometimes you become so good at feeling that way that you don't even realize how intense it is. I don't think that the people that would feel it are the guy who ditched the game. Oh, well, and that's the other thing. It would follow you after the game. Exactly. It stays with you. Even when you're upset, and even when you're justifiably upset, it's still yours. And that's not saying not to get upset, but that's saying, because you can't, you don't want to hold on to it. Because an emotion is not the truth. An emotion is the guideposts to what needs to happen. So if you're upset about something, that's not the end of it. There's a reason why you're upset. And it'll tell you something. I can't say, because like I get upset by different things than other people do. So I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you when you feel something about it, that's letting you know you got to do something. And you choose. I don't say you choose what to be upset about, but you choose how to deal with it. So like, for me, talking to people and learning about their personality, very often in a video game upsets me. But I can't need other people to change. For me, who am I? What? No, I don't need you to be different. I just need you to not speak to me. That's period. I don't need you to play this game differently. I just need you to not talk to me. I just need you to do what you're doing without sharing anything with me. I don't want to connect with you emotionally. I want to play this game. It's not necessary for me to be a good teammate and connect with you emotionally. That costs extra. No way, my guy. We're not doing it. And it's harder for me to reserve judgment. I've played with people who are really good, but their personality was I was so resistant to who they were as a person, I couldn't even play with them. I couldn't even enjoy how skilled they were at the game because I was so in resistance to how they were as a person. And that makes me a bad teammate, actually. Even though they suck, whatever, they suck. Okay, cool, they suck. I'm playing like shit because I can't get over how much they suck, but they're good at the game, but they suck. I would rather in the context of the video game, and that's the other thing about this, is we're going to have to do this. We can't do all this shit alone, all this change that needs to happen, and all this stuff that needs to be built, and all these dreams that need to be dreamt and carried out. You're not going to be in love with every single person you work with to make the future that you want. But if you can work with them, at least, and not let their shitty personality get in the way, and not saying that, like, you want to work with a bunch of fucking assholes either, but, like, sometimes people are away, and you can't control that. You can only control your reaction and response to it. And not judging them and accepting them, and just doing you. And also, like, we don't need to be best friends. Like, you don't need to be best friends with everybody that you come into contact with. You don't even need to like everybody that you come into contact with. You just gotta like yourself, I guess. Or, well, you don't even have to really like yourself. That can be a journey as well. But not when you don't even, I'm not even, whatever you do is what you do. Can't control it, not gonna try to. Just gonna control myself. This is something, so I have these bullet points up, but I never go in order. Intention keeps like screaming at me. The word intention. I'm really bad at intention, setting intention. It's so valuable to have an intention. I guess I have some pretty like set intentions whenever I do things. Like my main intention for playing a game is to have fun and to have some good fights. Like when I'm playing Apex, I just want to have some good fights. I just want to feel like, you know, ooh, I got my movement down. Here I go. So, hello. It's Rachel. What up, Rach? But setting intention before you go into something can really like help you stay focused and in the moment when things don't go the way that you thought they would go. So when I keep basically the same intention when I'm playing Apex is like, I want to get some good fights. I want to have some fun. I want to do this. Like, I want to get into some good fights. I want to have fun. That's my intention. I'm not trying to win. But maybe your intention is to win, or maybe your intention is to get better at a gun, or maybe your intention is to do something very specific. But knowing what you're there for in any situation, like knowing why am I here? Like, what am I here for? Can pull you out of a shitty situation. Because if you're like, say you're like, I'm just queuing in today to get better at shooting guns. I want to practice shooting my gun. And that's your intention. You say that that's your intention. So does it really matter if you win then? If that's your intention for today? Like, does it even matter if you win? Does it even matter if you have a full team? Does it even matter, like, if, like, I don't know, if anything else happens besides you getting to shoot your guns? Love's idea of setting intentions. Yeah, like, and it takes a moment. And I think a lot of this too is like, we don't get a lot of moments either. That's another reason why presence is so difficult to cultivate, is we don't get a lot of moments to ourselves. We have to sell a lot of our time, and we give our time away a lot to other people and things. And we don't get the time, the moment to be like, what am I doing this for? What is this for? We don't even get to take that moment. I rarely take that moment. Intention is something I rarely set on purpose. And when I do, and then I'm like, oh, this isn't even like when I set my intention to just like have fun, play a game, we're going to have fun. I usually hit it. I usually do. Because I'm not focused on everything that comes my way. I can, okay, we came here to have fun. Are we having fun? And that's an easy question. I came here to shoot a gun. Am I shooting a gun? Cool. I'm having the best time of my life. I came here to win. That's a little harder. Because you can't control that. You can't really control whether or not you win. But I'm sure you would have some pretty good games if you were like, okay, I'm playing to win. I'm playing to win this game. It changes the way that you approach something so that you can pull your focus. So if I'm like not present, I'm looting, I'm shitting on my teammate, I'm a fucking asshole. But then I'm like, didn't I come here to win? Did I come here to win this game? Cool, let's play like the winner. And you can turn your attention back to the thing that you came here to do, your focus and your energy to what you came here to do, because you thought about it for one moment before you turned on the game and you were like, okay, what am I here for? And you can do that with anything, but it takes that one moment, and sometimes it's a big pain in the ass. I don't want to do that. So I definitely have an issue with intention. Not an issue. It's not a problem. I don't really set my intentions. I usually just try and have fun. That's my main intention for most of the things that I do. I'm just trying to have fun. Just trying to have a good time. But that pulling your focus back to the thing that you said that you needed to happen can be really helpful. Energy. So I said that we give our energy away to a lot of things, and we do it like unintentionally. unintentionally. We give our energy away a lot to a lot of things. And I say we as in I think it's like a thing that people do. Because we have a lot of things that want our energy. They want our attention and focus. They want us to pay attention. And like ads are like the biggest thing that I can think of that's like the most overt energy suck that's ever been created is an ad. That's why we all fucking hate ads so much. Because it's like, fuck you. Fuck you. That's how I feel about an ad. Fuck you. So intrusive. So intrusive. So terrible. An ad. I can't think of anything worse than an ad. Could you? No. And yet, ads literally pay for like everything. Ads pay for Twitch. Ads pay for all the fucking websites that you're on. Instagram loves sucking an ad's dick. Like, they like, an ad is like, because it's only designed to like get something from you. A good ad will give you something back, which is like, oh, you're telling me about this thing that I actually want. But the way that it's been flipped is that it's trying to get you to have something that you don't actually need or want. Sadness. But an ad is a more overt grab for attention. There's tons of other things, or energy, I should say. There's tons of other things that we just give our energy to. Like, and then we're like tired and we don't know why. It's like, why am I so tired? It's like, because I don't really know where my energy's going. And I have this issue too. This is something, and I'm saying like, we have all these issues, and I don't want to frame it as like, we have issues and we need to fix them and we're broken. That's not really what the issue is, but it's learning where you're leaking energy so that you can pull it back for yourself and be there when you need to be there. Because if you're leaking energy all over the place, you're answering your email, you're on your phone, you're answering a text message, you're like you're spread out all over the place. Oh no, I'm leaking. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not like, oh no, I have to be like on guard and you can't like, you don't have to be defensive about it. Just notice, you can notice like, oh, I'm feeling a little scattered. We feel scattered because we're sending love, sending good vibes. I'm looking at my phone and giving you all my attention. And that's not saying like you should not have a cell phone, but that's saying like, if you're feeling scattered, you can take a second and pull it all back. Like, and I say this because then I'm given the image of when I'm in a game and I'm like, this is getting really intense. I stop moving. I'm like, I'm in cover and I stop moving and I just listen to where everything else is, because it's so hectic that when you're feeling like scattered to the winds, if you can take a second at any point, breathe and just listen, other things will happen to tell you what to do next. So if I'm taking a second, people are fighting me, they're running, there's another team, I'm like, take a second, don't move. Because everybody else is panicking. Not panicking, but everybody else is on the move. And if I take a second to hear what's going on, I can then make an informed choice. But if I'm making a choice from a place of panic, I'm not listening to what's actually going on or where anybody is. And I'm not taking that second. And you're always allowed to take that second. And sometimes it won't be a good second. Like, sometimes you're already panicking, so the second that you take, you get shot and you get sniped or whatever. That's the game. That's a game. In life, you take a second and turns out you needed more seconds. And you don't have it. That's unfortunate. And you didn't really figure anything out. You don't feel like, and you took that second and all it was crying. And you just feel like you didn't get anywhere. But you can always take a second and pull all the energy, everything that you've been putting out, pull it in, give it a minute. Focus. I find, and focus is very similar to flow for me. I like a soft focus, you know? I feel like the harder you focus on something, the less you are actually focusing on it. Does that make sense? Sometimes for when I'm drawing, I try to give myself some time. Like, for the next hour, I will draw and not get distracted by outside crap, emails. Yeah! Like, and that perfect transition into focus, you just kind of decide, I'm just going to do softly this thing. Without judgment, so then you don't want to, like, you don't want to, sometimes there's this, like, manager in my head. It's like the manager gremlin. I have a lot of different gremlins in my head who try and tell me fucking shit, and they're a bunch of assholes, but there's a manager gremlin who tells me, you have to, you gotta, it's like a shitty manager who's like, you have to do this. If you don't do this, then there's something wrong with you. You're going to be fired. From me? You're going to fire me. You can't fire me. I quit. That, like, manager in your head can't fucking fire you. Fuck that guy. But it's the coach. I like the coach better. I like the coach feeling better of, like, all right, so what do we want to get done? What are we trying to do? Okay, so how are we going to do that? How are we trying to get what are you doing, a resume? How would we do that? How are we going to fucking figure out a resume? So, shifting focus softly. You can shift focus softly. I don't like to have, like, and sometimes and for me also it's different in video games because there's, like, a hyper focus thing happening where I'm just, like, tapped in. I'm wired in to the game. I'm wired in. I'm here. I live here now. Like, fucking playing, like, Stardew Valley, I live here now. This is where I live. So it's like I'm only thinking about the next things, the next things. But even sometimes when I'm playing Stardew Valley, I'm starting to get stressed out because it's like, oh no, I'm not going to have enough melons for the festival or whatever the fuck. The cool thing about a game is I can be like, oh my god, this isn't real. And I know that's, like, you can't really do that. I mean, you technically can do that in real life. You can kind of be like, oh, you can kind of come out and be like, oh my god, chill out. Like, there's nothing you can't do, there's nothing that's happening to you that you can't figure out, first of all. But then also, I'm literally, like, in a game, playing a game, and I'm like, I didn't get the thing on time. And it's like, this is not my life. This isn't my life. Life is so, like, this isn't my life. This isn't, like, this is a thing that I'm doing. This isn't my life. And I think it gets harder, and it's actually funny because our friend Brian was here, or my friend Brian was our friend Brian who comes to this show, I should say. Because I have another friend, Brian. He's never been at the show. But he said to me in my stream, he was like, C2, I wonder if I get so upset. Yeah, girl. Yeah, it's not my life. He's like, I wonder if I get so upset about Apex sometimes is because I don't have a lot going on right now. So Apex feels like my life. And I was like, wow, that's, like, a really astute observation. And I was, like, so proud that he made that observation because, yeah, sometimes we get wrapped up in something. We get wrapped up in something that's not, and I don't want to say that's not our lives because, like, video games mean a lot of things to people. And, like, there's things that mean a lot to people. And, like, Jeff is a freelance artist. So, like, yeah, drawing kind of, like, is his life. But there's also an awareness that is important to have, and like I can't give that to you, but that has helped me. And you can decide whether or not you want to have that awareness or not. But that like life, me, my human body and life is not the things I interact with. It's not my computer. It's not the games I play. It's not the clothes I wear. It's not the music I listen to. It's not anything that's outside of me. Like my life and me and my existence is not justified by these things that I'm participating in. That's not the most, like, that's not existence. That's not, I just exist. That's the point. So I don't have, like, I can choose to latch on to whatever I want to latch on to as a little extra fun thing. But, like, playing a game and being good at a game is, like, just another thing. I don't know. And that's kind of, like, it's helpful to bring yourself macro sometimes when you're, like, focusing really so much on this little thing and how it's so important. And then you think, like, out, like, I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little guy. I'm just a little meat wizard on a rock in space, so small. I'm the small one. Like, who cares? Hey, that's me. It's you, Jeff. I'm just a little guy. Like, and I know that, like, that might be a terrifying prospect to, like, you zoom out and you imagine Earth and space. Nothing around it. So small. But, like, I'm just a guy. I'm just a little meat wizard on a floating rock in space. I only live for about, like, what, 80 years or so, depending on how science is going to go for me. And we've been doing this a long time, and I'm just playing a game right now. And that's what life is. The game is not life. Playing the game is not life. It's very helpful for me when I'm like, this is a game. And then you go do something dumb. And that's like the next thing that I wrote down is having fun. And that's why we play games. Not to be a fucking buzzkill to whoever plays games for money and whatever, but like probably anybody who's watching, they've probably also cultivated. I was thinking about this too. I was like, well, what about like, what am I going to say to people who, like, actually, like, compete and, like, whatever? Not that like, that doesn't matter either. But, like, I feel like if you compete, like, professionally in video games, you've already cultivated your own kind of, like, zen shit that you do that you don't need me to tell you anything. Like, I don't need to talk to a professional esports player. I'm sure he has all his fucking, like, personal practice and shit figured out. That's why he's a professional esports player. That's why they're a professional esports player. But, like, for, like, the regular person who is, like, I just don't want to feel such intense rage every time I play a game. It is a game. And not in a shitty way, but, like, let's do some dumb stuff then. Like, sometimes I'll be like, all right, I'm not having fun trying to be good at this game. I'm gonna have fun making jokes and doing dumb stuff. I'm gonna do the dumbest shit in the world. I'll play a different character. Do, like, go have, like, a weird, or I'll, like, make a mini game within the game for myself. Like, I'll be like, all right, I gotta pick up Mozambiques or whatever. Like, I gotta only pick up this kind of gun, or I gotta play this character that I never play, or I'm gonna play this really goofy character and do all this goofy stuff. Like, make friends. I'm making friends with all my randoms. I'm giving them all my, we're gonna get something that's funny that happens in Apex. Take off all your armor and take all your stuff out and, like, try and box people. Like, it's a game. We're supposed to have fun. But that's also, like, that's also for life. I don't hate that, but you can choose to have fun doing something. If it's like, I don't know what the fuck. How do I make this fun? I'm bored. I don't know. I'm bored. What are we doing? But like, especially in a game, it's a game. GAME. And it's not my life. So that helps me more, like, this isn't serious. Like, most things are not that serious. That's the other thing. A lot of things, I get caught up getting too serious for sure. That's something that because I'm like, oh, dark girl with feelings. I have so many feelings. I got a lot of feelings and I feel them very intensely. And sometimes that can feel very serious. Like I'm seriously feeling all of my feelings. And especially in a game where I'm like, if I'm already like mad about something, like I'm already mad about something that happened, I'm already like feeling nervous because something happened or like someone was mean to me and I'm still thinking about it. I feel like my feelings are feeling very feely. Yes, I'm feeling all my feelings a lot. I'm feeling a lot of feeling and I'm feeling so much. Feeling a lot. And I think I get like really like, oh, I feel and my thoughts are very important and I'm like making fun of myself right now. But it's like I get so like serious. It's a serious thing. Most feelings are big feelings. It takes a long time to feel them sometimes. Yeah. And like by all means, like give yourself that time to feel those things because that's important. Like feelings are important to feel so that you can understand what they're trying to tell you. But then also like a lot of stuff like doesn't have to be like so serious all the time. Like so serious. Most things that we're dealing with day to day aren't actually serious. Aren't actually like the little shit that we're like that bowls us over, but that I think they can feel very serious if that's true, if you don't give yourself time to feel your feelings. If you don't sit with that anger that happened a week ago, however long ago, you don't sit with that anger, it will continue to try and tell you the thing that it was trying to tell you. And that's why like, you want to feel your feelings not for anybody else. You want to feel them for you so that it can tell you what it needs to tell you. You feel it. You let yourself feel sad or mad without judgment. And then it can go. And the more you sit with it, not judge yourself, even if you're mad and you feel like you shouldn't be mad, you can be mad. That's fine. But then if you're letting yourself feel those feelings more and more, it becomes less serious because you don't have to it's not a big deal because yeah, I feel feelings all the time. I cry all the time. Yeah, I do that I feel big feelings all the time and I let myself feel them. And I don't, not mean to myself about it. I don't say you shouldn't do whatever. I'm going to feel whatever I feel regardless of how I feel. I'm going to feel how I feel regardless of what that means. Like whatever. I'm not really attaching to meaning to it. Letting yourself. And also, this is a thing that I've been working on that can be helpful, is when you're with other people, because it's hard to feel your feelings with other people. I think it can be hard to feel feelings with other people, especially if you need to kind of figure out what it is. But if you know what it is, and you can express those feelings in a way, not necessarily in video games, unless you're playing with friends. I think it's really helpful to express how you're feeling with friends because that can tighten shit up real quick. Like, especially if you're on a team and you can be like, okay guys, I feel really anxious. I keep trying to keep up and I feel like I'm not keeping up and that's making me frustrated, and like centering feelings around how you're feeling, not how other people are behaving. Mostly. Although this is more for games. I guess it's always working differently the way that you're going to be able to express your feelings. But like for me in games, if I'm playing with somebody and I need some team building moments, it's like, all right, here's how I'm feeling. Here's what I'm observing. I would like to feel this way. I would like to feel calmer or whatever. how can we make that a reality, I guess. How can we get on the same page? That's really the main thing, is getting on the same page with anybody that you're teaming up with. Harder with randoms. Definitely harder with randoms. You got to kind of have this whole teamwork talk by yourself playing with randoms, and that's what I do. I have a whole teamwork talk by myself. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling pissed off. I'm pissed. What are we doing? How are we going to figure this out? And usually when I'm like real crunchy, team meeting of one. Exactly. I'm the captain and the coach and the player and the star player and the worst player also all in one. Usually when I'm feeling real crunchy in a game, it is because there's something else happening. Hello, what up, Dr. Yesterday? Usually if I'm feeling real crunchy in a game, it's because there's something else in my life that I did not address. So I'm tired. I'm hungry. Something's been bothering me and I haven't given myself the time to think about it. So now I'm just in a bad mood. Sometimes a lot of my bad moods actually come from me being tired. If I don't get enough sleep and I've been working a lot, like working on other stuff for other people and giving my energy away, having to give my energy away, sell it, whatever, for a lot of things, that grinds me down pretty thin, and then I react more than respond. But that's something that I know already about myself. And if you pay attention to when you feel like, ooh, I'm thin, like I'm kind of thin right now, my like reaction time is wild, you start paying attention to that, that's super helpful in knowing like, okay, well, what do I need? What do I usually need? Like I always go through the checklist of like, okay, what do I usually need? Enough sleep to be full of food. I need enough sleep. I need to be full of food, or at least not hungry. And that's like the two biggest things. I can't even think. I mean, water, but that's like constant. Speaking of water, not tired. Getting enough sleep is my main thing. The second thing is, am I hungry? The third thing is there something that I have not addressed personally, that I'm feeling a lot of feelings about, that I am trying to ignore? That's the biggest thing. So if I'm on Apex, but even by myself, life tips here. I'm saying the life tips come into the game tips. You know what I'm saying? But presence, and this is the thing, presence you cultivate it outside the game, and then you can bring it into the game. So if I'm so tired and very hungry and I'm really upset about something that happened and I'm ignoring it because I don't want to deal with it, I fucking log on to Apex and that those people leave me. Somebody pings at me. It's over. It's over for me. It's World War III in my head. It's like over. I can't even. I'm just like, why are you like this? Because I didn't take care of my whole, you're pinging at me! Yeah, I didn't take care of my whole shit before I got in the game. So, of course, like, I didn't need a snack. I should have taken a nap. I shouldn't have played the game. I should have taken a nap. The fuck? So that's, like, you start paying attention to, like, why am I freaking out right now? Oh, I didn't get enough sleep. And this gets harder, like, life comes at you fast, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to stay present when you do have to sell a lot of your time for money. And you do have to spend a lot of time doing some stuff that you don't really like to do or want to do. And I don't really have a solution for that. That's not something that's like, you got your own compass in here. But when you know, like, the basic things that you can take care of, if those are taken care of to keep you at, like, baseline equilibrium, then it's much easier to get present. So if like, even just taking care of that basic stuff and making that a habit before even thinking about, like, am I present in the present moment? Am I being mindful? Like, talk a lot about, like, highfalutin concepts and shit. For sure. But also, like, you don't have to be Zenman on the mountain to, like, just take care of your present moment. Like, you don't have to even do a mindfulness practice to take care of your present moment. Maybe you just need a snack. Or maybe you need a nap. Or maybe you just gotta, like, breathe for a second. Like, and not even, like, it's really basic. It's, like, really basic setting your equilibrium, setting that shit so that you can do other stuff. And your body will tell you. Your body is always going to tell you when you need something. For sure. Your brain will sometimes tell you, but if you haven't cultivated, like, all of the habits yet, your brain might not know, and your body needs to tell you first. Maybe you need to call your brother and say, I'm sorry. Yeah. And a lot of the times when I'm like, something's eating me up. This is a really funny thing. So I thought I did something shitty the other day. I'm going to be really vague. I thought I did something really shitty the other day. And it was tearing me up. Shame spiral. I was crying. It was terrible. And I apologized to the person that I thought I did the shitty thing to. And they were like, what are you talking about? Chat. When I tell you, I was like, what am I talking about? I spent like 30 minutes crying, beating myself up over a thing, over like a pattern that I have, whatever. I'm very into like undoing my own patterns and shit. And I was like, what am I talking about? And I didn't say that to them. Like, to me, to them, I was just like, oh, here's what I was thinking. It was like very chill. But like, I was like, oh, you know, here's what I thought. Here's what happened. And they were like, oh, I don't care about that. Oh, I don't care about that. That's no. Oh, no. Not in like, I don't care about you. But like, it was like, oh, that's not, no, I'm not, no. You're fine. I was like, oh my God. Your brain will fuck you up with what you think should happen and whatever. But it was because I was like, all right, I gotta tie this shit up. I'm gonna apologize for a thing I thought I did that I didn't do. But because I took that moment and being like, okay, how do I tie this up? I'm gonna apologize. And it tied it up even more because the person was like, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. You're fine. I was like, oh my God. Thank God I said something, because I would have spent the rest of the day losing my goddamn mind. And I practice mindfulness. The fucking mean gremlins thoughts don't stop. But the way that you deal with them and the checklist that you run through will help. So I also knew that I needed to eat some food, so I had a snack as well. And I did an apology and I had a snack. And it turned out to be completely okay and everything was all right. And that doesn't always happen. Sometimes you're gonna... That was like, oh, I really gave myself a run for our money. Did an apology, had a snack, you know. Running through the checklist. It's, for me, the big three, and you gotta identify that for yourself too, and your body will tell you. Like, for me, the big three are, did I get enough sleep? Am I hungry? What time of the month is it? Because if it's right before my period, this shit does not work at all. Who's home? Nobody. The teens are home and they're drinking beer. No. Does not work right before my period. Am I tired? Am I hungry? What time of the month is it? Is there something that I have not addressed that is upsetting me that I am ignoring? And you can address shit on your own, but you got to give yourself space and time to do that too. I I require a lot of alone time. That's another one. Have I had enough alone time lately? I require a lot of alone time for me. But it depends on what you need. And that starts with like trial and error. Like, do I feel better when I do this? You can ask, and you can ask the internet. I ask the internet a lot of things about like what helps with this. Sleep affects my happiness levels, food affects my anger levels, bottled up emotions affect everything. Yo, if I have not addressed something, and most of the time for me, it needs to be addressed with myself. I need to get clear on how I feel about something. I need to get clear on what I'm going to do about how I feel about something, what my emotions are telling me. And a lot of stuff actually, and I hesitate to say this because we do want to be interdependent and in relationship with people. But a lot of stuff that is an issue is that you just need to allow yourself to feel a way about something. You don't always necessarily need to bring it to the other person. In my case, what was happening was I did something that I felt bad about, so I felt I needed to apologize for it. But most of the time, there are things that are going on and you're ignoring your feelings and you're not getting clear about how you feel. And most of the time that's just what needs to happen, and you don't gotta bring that person into it to help to like fucking do that with you. Sometimes you do, because if it's a thing with your relationship with somebody and it's something that's like behavioral, you'll need to do it. You'll need to be like, hey man, hey lover, I don't know, the person, hey person who I'm in a relationship with, friend, platonic or otherwise, I need to talk to you about this. But a lot of the time you just gotta be with yourself and think about it, and not even think about it, feel about it. You gotta feel all the feelings, and feeling feelings really gets you, you know. But that's also being present too. And this is the like other thing about being present, is that sometimes presence is allowing yourself to feel like trash or feel really good. Either one. When you're present, you have access to both. You can feel as good as you need to feel, and you can feel as shitty as you need to feel, and you don't have to judge yourself for either way, because that's how you're feeling. It's possible too that whatever you did to that person did affect them, but you apologizing instantly washed it away, and so they chose not to make you feel bad about it because you reflected and learned on your own. Yeah, I'm not thinking about it anymore, so it doesn't matter to me, but like, yes. I don't keep that. It happened. I felt all the feelings. And that instance was actually not about another person at all, it turns out, which is funny because I thought it was about another person, but it was actually just about me and the way that I was talking to myself and the shame spiral that I was in and the way that I was judging myself and not accepting myself and being shitty with myself had me feeling that way. Because I wasn't chilling out about it. I like let it ride with a good fun little shame spiral. You ever been in a shame spiral? It's like being in a washing machine. Actually, I feel like that's what it's like. I am a shame spiral. I love it. No, Jeff. You are not the shame spiral. You are more than that. You're just a little guy. So, talking a lot about that stuff. A rotini of remorse. Non-judgment and acceptance are two of the biggest tools. Most useful tools. And there's a bit of a skill curve to them. But if you can get on board with not judging yourself, practice not judging yourself first. That will bleed over into not judging other people. Practice accepting yourself first. And that's not saying like, I'm perfect the way that I am, even though I think we're all perfect the way that we are. we're all serving a purpose, but that's not saying you don't want to be the best version of yourself. That's just saying that, like, whatever I am being and whoever I am and whoever you are is how you are. And I am going to have my peace regardless of that. I am going to do what I'm going to do regardless of that, and work towards something. Because that's true. If you like, what's an example? Something that you know about, because you can't change, and you also can't evolve and change a habit without accepting, like, yeah, I have this habit and it's kind of sucks, but I do. So you start there, and then you can move into a different space. If you want patience, you'd like patience in your moments when you're not your best. You have to give patience to those who aren't. Exactly. And you're not going to get it right all the time. You're not perfect. You're going to freak out. And then you accept yourself for that too. Like, I had a shame spiral, and I'm like, hey man, shame spiral, let's go. We did it. Remember? Wow, that was a time. And you don't need to harp on it and beat yourself up about it. And if you find yourself, what's the I think I got this from Brene Brown. One crime, one punishment. When you revisit shitty things you did, it's like, we don't need to go back there like that. We don't need to go back there and relive that and beat myself up. You don't need to punish yourself multiple times for something shitty that you've done. You've already punished yourself probably more than you even would ever deserve. Not that anybody deserves punishment at all. You're not serving justice to yourself by being a dick to yourself. and what is it? Flagellating? What the monks do. You're not, you can never go back, Charlie. Yeah. Flogging. There we go. No, but it's flagellating. I think it's flagellating. Flogging. But it is also, it's both. It's all things. It's all of them. And you can let it go. Yeah, you can let it go real easy. Be real nice and be real, like, I don't want to say be real nice to yourself. Something that helps me. It's Mario. Yeah, what up, Mario? Something that helps me. Being really nice to myself is something I do because it helps me. And that's how I respond to positive reinforcement quite well. And I know that about myself. So I talk to myself like I'm a coach, Like, all right, kid. Yeah, ruminating will, you don't have to. You're not the worst thing you ever done, You're just existing. And other people also are not the worst thing that they've ever done. So if you can accept that about yourself or other people, whichever works first, because I think for me, I guess it depends. Accepting myself first helped me accept everything else, maybe? Not judging myself first helped me not judge other people as much. But sometimes not judging other people first will help you not judge yourself more. You could try them both. But the thing in not judgment is when you catch yourself in non-judgment, you don't want to judge yourself for being judgmental. You just kind of want to laugh. You don't want to be too much of a dick if you do find yourself judging, because these are, they're patterns that you learn over a really long period of time. And they're hard to unlearn and they're hard to reteach. So you're just learning and doing your best. And so is everybody else. And it's just a game. It's just a game. This life of ours, just a game. We are merely the players. We are the player and the avatar. Label it and keep going. Not even. Labeling is even too much. That happened. Well, that's happening. Yeah, well, name the emotion. And it depends. It's hard. You get all tech, and then you get stuck in your head, and you're not listening, you got to bring it back to focus, bring it back to breath. But mostly keep it moving. Allow yourself the moment, because the moment, and that's the other thing about presence. Presence is not the absence of everything else. It's not like how you keep peace is by choosing peace even in the midst of chaos. Not allowing yourself to fall into chaos, but if you do, not judging it, as that will run you deeper into chaos. But choosing peace in the midst of chaos. So like for me, when I first got on, and this is my first stream where I have not played any games, and I knew I had to be completely present for the presence episode. And I first got on and I was like, oh boy, I don't really know how to do this, so I'm just going to start it. And I'm just going to do it the way that I think I should. The way that I think I would do it. Because I can't do it. I can't know what it feels like to do it without doing it. And I can't be okay with knowing how it feels to do it without doing it first. At any point. Oh man, I thought I just missed the games. No, I have not played any games because this is the presence episode where I'm completely present. Winging it is sometimes the best game plan. Exactly. And what is a plan except for a dream that has not happened? You can plan things all you want, but whatever's going to happen is what's going to happen. A plan is nice to have. I had some bullet points, and I had an idea of what I wanted to talk about. I had some ideas. And I was like, I talk to myself so much anyway, this is going to be fine. But I was extremely nervous. And I had to go for a walk around the block. And I had to breathe a lot. I love going for a walk around the block when I'm feeling nervous. But then I was just like killing it. Jeff! You're the best. But I was just like, this is what I'm here to do. Is talk about this shit. So I'm just going to do that. Presence is not this place. You've been present before. That's another thing about presence is you've been present before. You just might not have called it that. The present moment is all that is like here. It's all that's like, oh, my mic is probably so loud. Oh no, it's probably the right. No, sorry. See, not present. You've been present before, even if you didn't know that you were being present. And that is just like and then I try to describe presence and then I just say presence. Presence is being present to the present moment. Presence is when you're present. Presence is when you're present and also fully present. That's presence. Presence is really just you're right here. You're not in the future, you're not in the past. And you are able to move wherever you need to move in the next moment, which will also be the present moment when you get there. So, and I think we get caught up a lot on needing a plan. Like, we need a plan. We need a plan! I think that's something that, like, I freak out a lot about. Present is a present that you're gifted in the present. There we go. I think we get caught up on needing a plan as if a plan will always go the way that you planned it. Always. And I feel like no matter how much we know that plans don't always go the way that you wanted, and I say we because this seems like a very human thing that we do, they will change. And I'm definitely one of those people who's like, I don't like when plans change drastically because I'm like, I was preparing my whole self for this one thing, and now we're doing this other thing, and I'm upset. And I definitely like to be briefed. But also, as I grow and as I change, I know that, like, you know, shit happens. It's fine. I don't, you might not like something, but it's still happening. So you can either be like, cool, how do we shift? Cool, how do we shift? Or you can just be upset and then ruin your whole fucking day about it. And you get to decide. You decide how that's going to go, always, which is comforting to me. Also, sometimes a huge pain in the ass. I hate that I am my biggest obstacle. Isn't that a bunch of bullshit? It's a bunch of bullshit. But, staying in the moment helps me greatly because then I don't have to worry about the past or the future. Worrying is like a waste of time. Because most of the time you're worrying about something that's not going to happen. And then when something actually does happen, because things do happen in life, you freak out about it because you were too busy worrying about other stuff. Most of the time when the bad things happen, when the bad stuff happens, when the stuff happens and you need to react, you need to respond to them, worrying about all the other stuff that could have happened actually doesn't help. It wastes a bunch of your energy and you put yourself in a permanent state of fear, fucking cortisol hormones firing in your goddamn brain constantly for a thing that may or may not happen. That when a thing does happen, because things happen to people, I don't want to say to people, things happen. When you got to respond to them, blew all your cortisol out worrying about the other things that don't happen. Worrying's a waste of time. You can worry a little. I mean, you worry kindly, I guess. But don't judge yourself for worrying. But that keeps you out of the present moment. I can't deal with this. I'm stuck in a shame spiral. Jeff, get out of the shame spiral. Come on. Get out of there. Get out of there, you scamp. Come on. Get out of there. We love you. Can't deal with this. I'm stuck in a shame spiral. You scamp. You're being a rascal. I'm in the eye of the storm. That's the peaceful part of it. That's really where you want to be, actually, Jeff. That's presence. You did it. The trick is to stay in the eye, though. Stay in the eye until the storm passes. I'm in the eye of the storm. Unless you made the storm. Listen. You're doing your best. You're doing your best. Staying present isn't for me at least where I'm at, it's not like a constant the goal is like, yeah, I'm just present to the present moment. I am open to whatever comes. That's like the goal, because then you're not worrying about the past or thinking about you're not worrying about either past or future, because that's usually where worry comes from. But you are going to be pulled out. But when you get pulled out, you can make a note. Okay, what is that? Why does that pull me out? And then you start building resiliency and building like, okay, I'm feeling this, and this is how I can bring myself back to the present. Somatic nervous system stuff. Feeling the controller, not squishing the controller, doing dishes, breathing. And it's just a practice of habits to make sure that you're here right now and not anywhere else. So easy and simple, right? So easy. But then you can make decisions. And in gaming, when you're in a game, you got to be able to make them quick decisions. For me, it's easier to focus on being in the present when I'm gaming because I literally can't think about other things. But if any of that makes sense, I hope it does. And if it doesn't make sense, something will one day. But yes, presence. I was present here. I was present here on this day for the presence episode 4. And I did my best. And I hope it was good for you. We did it. I'm C2. That was best random ever. I was talking about presents. I was fully present. I think. It was really great to hang out with all of you today. I do have my own. What a treat, Jeff. What a treat. He's just a little guy. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna link. Let's see. I did have a command in this channel, but it went away. I do have my own channel where I do stream games, where I'm present, streaming games. That's my channel. You can follow me there. I feel like the stream is you paying for therapy, but sharing it with your homies for free, like a Netflix login. Oh, I don't go to therapy anymore. I did for a long time. I am my own therapist. See, I'm my own coach. I'm my best player. I'm my worst player. I'm my own therapist. I'm the sports therapy guy. I'm the manager. That's me. It's just self stuff. You guys already know all this stuff. I'm just reminding you. Grig and Poggers. Great show. Thanks, Jared. You can follow me there. Trident. This show is on the Trident Network. We're a three-pronged entertainment network. We do podcasts. We do videos. We do live streaming shows. You should definitely follow them. Go to their website. Let's see. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to grab some of these links because those commands aren't working right now, I don't think. So I'm going to... Don't we have... Here we go. The website. Oh no, this is the Twitch. Nor. The commands. If you go down to the about, it has all the links to everything, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, oh man, so many links. There are so many links in the about. But yes, that's the Trident Network. We have a lot of great shows. You can check them out. You can check them out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Wednesday. I'm the only show on Tuesday. Tomorrow we got the Elevator Showcase. Do we got the Elevator Showcase tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow we got the Elevator Showcase, 8 p.m. Central. They're really fun. But yes, you can catch me tomorrow, and tomorrow morning I'm going to be on my channel streaming Apex Legends. And maybe another game, we'll see. But I had a really good time being present. I did it. This is my first time not playing a game on stream, and I freaking did it. I'm very excited. So thank you for being there for that with me. I will see you all very soon. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Be kind to yourselves. Be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Love yourselves and love each other. And I'll see you all really soon. Goodbye, everyone. Mwah!